I want to talk about income documentation for union employees and even the spouses of union employees because they do a lot of the dirty work a lot of times. So, the first thing is like if you work for a union and understand and you can put on your application, hey, I've worked for the union for 5 years. The issue is that the union usually does not issue you paychecks or not the majority of your income. The union does not issue W-2s 90% of the time, and the union does not like contact or control payroll. Usually the union has you a guaranteed rate and they make sure you have a job and they fill in between the times that you don't have a job and everything like that, or you're not assigned to a job. So the issue is you may have worked for the union for the last 2 years, but you worked at 8 different locations. You're still going to be required to actually give us those 8 different W-2s. And then we'll have to still source any, I guess, job gaps that you had in there or assignment gaps in there. Usually the union has you employed with multiple contractors, so that's which is fine with your income, and then you get per diem. A lot of times people don't understand that per diem is not countable, so that may be a good majority of your income. That is why it's very important to get pre-qualified up front before you start looking for a job. If you don't file taxes on those per diem, then you can't use that income, or if it's a housing allowance and it's not consistent, you cannot use that income to qualify. You're usually going to be able to use your base pay and overtime, and we'll still have to average that overtime between all those different employers you've had over the last 2 years and year to date. That's something you want to be aware of, and you want to make sure you're keeping all that documentation. Also, you want to make sure that if you're with the union, that you stay in assignments and everything. You can be sometimes, not often, that you don't get reassigned somewhere. It shows perceived instability, so you want to make sure you're working and all that stuff. So underwriters do understand it a little bit more now that you have a lot of with the auto unions, you have electricians unions, you have welders and different things like that. Make sure you get with someone like me as a lender who kind of understands it, because a lot of people don't. They look at it as an inconsistency, and that's really just how your job works or your career works. Also, they want to make sure that your income is not seasonal or fluctuating. With some jobs, if you work out on an oil rig or something like that, you're not going to be working during the worst weather months. So your pay may be lower and everything. So that's why that 2 year, year to date average is very important. You'll also want to get a letter a letter of status from the union to make sure you're still active with the union, to make sure you still get terms, even though you're getting these pay stubs and W-2s from the actual people that you're working for. You want so we can verify the overtime and all that, and it helps with the variability of income and things like that. So a lot of that stuff goes into it. It's not as simple as like, hey, this is how much I make, or I'm guaranteed 30 something dollars an hour and multiplying that by 40. So you want to make sure there's no gaps in employment and everything. What we do is that we actually upfront underwrite this stuff for you. Last thing you want to do, you already have a job where you travel a lot, is to like start looking for a home for you and your family and be disqualified when you look at it. So what we try to do is get all those W-2s from all those employers up front, your most recent pay stubs, even if you work 3 jobs that year, the last pay stub of that job, so we can see what you average in overtime and differential income and all that. A union letter confirming your membership status, your trade, your length of a union affiliation, and then like the dispatch process. Like, what's the longest that you would ever be not assigned? Is that a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever? And then just a clear explanation of how your work is assigned through the union. Bottom line, union employees are great mortgage applicants, and we know that you keep a job. So just so you can know, if you're in a union and you're looking to do a mortgage application, those are the things you want to get started on and get those over to your lender. Of course, hopefully that would be me. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, 404-461-3172 or reggieloans.com.